Thank you. Isn't it great to be in San Francisco? Woo! So, we have so much great stuff for you today that we may even have to take a stretch break in the middle here. A lot of good stuff. I hope you love it as much as we do. So, there are about 3,800 of us here today. We're a little over 1% of the registered Apple developers. There's over 300,000 now, and that number has tripled since the introduction of Mac OS X. Not only Carbon and Cocoa developers, but a ton of Unix developers have joined us, a lot of Java developers as well. So we're really excited about this. I want to start with some updates, and then we'll get into the meat of today's presentation. First, I want to talk about Airport Extreme. Airport Extreme is our 54 megabit per second airport product that's based on the industry standard 802.11g. And the standard was not yet ratified when we started shipping in January. We were the first to ship this, but it was ratified a little over a week ago. And 1 week after it was ratified, we had an airport software update on the net for base stations and cards to bring them totally in compliance with the final ratified spec. We are 1,000% sure that 802.11g is the successor to 802.11b. It's totally backwards compatible. And as I mentioned, Apple was the first to ship 802.11g in our industry, just as we were the first to ship 802.11 wireless networking in computers years ago. And I'm pleased to report that since we started shipping 802.11g in January, we've shipped over 300,000 802.11g products. So that's an update on Airport Extreme. We couldn't be happier with the progress. Next, I want to give you an update on our retail stores. This is off the charts. It's been 25 months since we opened our first store. We now have 58 stores open. Since we've opened them, we've had over 17 million visitors to our stores. 17 million. This is our store in New York. It's one of the coolest stores in New York. If you've ever been there, worth a visit if you're in the city. It's wonderful. This is our largest store in Los Angeles in the Grove Shopping Center, and again shows how much software we carry in our stores. We love to carry your software. And among the many stores we're going to be opening in the next year, we're opening 3 really great stores, one in Chicago, one in San Francisco, and one in Tokyo. We're opening Chicago this coming weekend. And this is a photo from last week. This is right on Michigan Avenue, which is the best shopping street in America outside of Fifth Avenue in New York. It's phenomenal. That Big Apple logo in the middle is actually a window that you can see right in, get some natural light on the second floor. In San Francisco, we don't have anything constructed yet. We'll open San Francisco next spring, but this is a rendering. I wish it was this easy to build them. This is at the end of Stockton Street, viewed from Market Street. This is what it will look like, only a few blocks from where we are sitting here right now. And in Tokyo, we are opening a store. It's going to be great. In Tokyo, we are opening a store on the Ginza, which is the #1 shopping street in the world, and we're opening it early next year. And again, this is a rendering of what it will be. So, we've had 17 million visitors and counting. We love to sell your software and hardware accessory products, so keep feeding them to us, and we can't wait to put them in our stores. So that's an update on our retail stores. Next, iPod. iPod, again, we couldn't be happier with. We just introduced our 3rd generation iPod. Our competitors haven't even caught up with our 1st generation yet. We're in our 3rd, and it is amazing. It is as light as 2 CDs in their jewel cases. It is as thin as 2 CD jewel cases back to back. It has a dock so that charging and syncing is even more convenient than before. And I've got a great milestone today. Today's an auspicious day because later on today we will ship our 1 millionth iPod. So, another great product for music, of course, iTunes 4. And the greatest feature of iTunes 4 is, of course, the iTunes Music Store. Being an auspicious day today, It was 8 weeks ago today that we launched the iTunes Music Store, only 8 weeks ago, and I'm pleased to report that in the first 8 weeks, we've sold over 5 million songs online. We crossed the 5 million mark this last Saturday, and we, again, are thrilled. Now, we ran an ad campaign about the iTunes Music Store, and you know when you run an ad campaign if it's really working, if it resonates with the culture, if people start to parody it. And it wasn't very long before that happened, and when I saw this on TV.
They found another tape of Osama bin Laden, found it was released. And, you know, they were playing this thing over and over again on Al Jazeera Network, and I get the premium cable package, so I get Al Jazeera. Well, we'll show the latest Osama bin Laden tape.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You what the buggers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty-bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. I want to get with ya and take your picture. You say you want to get in my Benz? Well, use me. Use me. You know you don't have to
So, doesn't get any better than that. Okay, so that's the iTunes Music Store. Next, I want to give you an update on Safari. As you know, Safari is the fastest browser on the Mac, and we think it's the best browser on any platform. We've had over 5 million downloads of the Safari beta software that we released in January, and it's a phenomenal browser. We were able, over the course of the beta period, to add tab browsing. I think we've got the slickest implementation of tab browsing ever done. It's been 6 months that we've had the beta software out there. You guys have given us a phenomenal number of comments. We've incorporated as many as we could in, and I think we've got an incredibly solid browser now. And so today we are declaring Safari 1.0. We're releasing it on the web in a few hours. You can download your copy, and we're also fulfilling a request we've had from so many of you that want to embed Safari functionality in your apps by just calling a few Carbon or Cocoa APIs. Today we're releasing a Safari SDK to all of you as well. So that's Safari, and that concludes my updates. Now let's get right into it. I want to talk about Mac OS X. Mac OS X is doing really, really well. Let me show you. Over the last 2 years, we've gone from about 500,000 active users to 7 million active users of Mac OS X. And look at the slope of that curve. It's going up. We have 6,000 native Mac OS X apps. And again, let's take a look at the slope of this curve over the last 2 years, starting with under 1,000. It's accelerating. And this is obviously, these two are linked. And so we are over the crest of the hill of the Mac OS X transition, and we'll finish it up this year. And all I can say for all these apps is thank you. I know this has been a lot of work for some of you, as any major OS transition is, and you guys have really come through, and we are just about through with this, and we've got a kick-ass OS. So thank you. But today, for all of us in this room, all the developers, Jaguar's over. Because today, we're going to preview Panther for you, the next major release of Mac OS X, version 10.3. Its name is Panther, and it's the 4th major release of Mac OS X, following Cheetah, Puma, and Jaguar. In Panther, there are over 100 major new features. We're not going to have time to go over all of them today, but I want to cover a few of them with you. And I think you'll agree it's a stunning release. First, let's start off with Unix. As you know, Mac OS X is Unix-based. And, as you also know, Mac OS X is now the most popular Unix in the world. The most popular Unix in the world. And we've enhanced it for Panther. We got a lot of cool new features. X11 is bundled in, NFS file locking, a much faster Unix file system, much more robust Kerberos, free BSD 5.0, IPv6, and a lot of popular Unix APIs that you guys have asked for. All of that and a lot more Unix stuff is in Panther. Now, in addition to Unix, though, we support the other guys, too. We want to help our customers work in heterogeneous networks, and we've added a lot of stuff for Windows operability. We're shipping the latest version of Samba that just came out. We're the first folks to ship that, I believe, so that you can now browse SMB servers dynamically right in the Finder. SMB printing, you put your home directories on SMB servers. We're shipping a new IPsec-based VPN, which is the new standard for VPN adopted by Cisco and Microsoft and us, and a lot deeper Active Directory integration. So, a lot of stuff with Windows interoperability. Now let's get into some of the coolest stuff. Panther has a brand new Finder. Now, you might say, well, wait a minute. What was wrong with the old Finder? Well, the old Finder was computer-centric. When we really were honest with ourselves, we had to admit it. We did as best as we could, but we didn't quite get across the goal line. It was computer-centric. What do I mean by that? Well, this is column view in the old Finder, in the Jaguar Finder, and that's my stuff right there, right? That's my stuff. 4 levels down. How could I be the most important thing if I'm 4 levels down? And I need stuff at other levels, and it's just very confusing. So we want to replace this computer-centric Finder with a user-centric Finder. Well, how do we do that? Well, we start off by learning from some of the other interfaces we built over the last few years, and we said, let's put all the stuff you want, including stuff you want to drag in one column and put it on the left. And that's what we've done. All your storage, your removable storage, your iDisk, your home directory, any folders you want in one column. And let's put that on the left of a window. This might look a little bit like playlists in iTunes or photo albums in iPhoto. That's because it is. And you click on one of these things and boom, your stuff is right there. So here's my home, here's my applications, here's my documents. I can look at these things in column view, list view, or icon view and have my stuff right there. Boom. And I can drag any folders I want right into that left column. It's really, really simple. Now, we've done more. We've added fast searching. So you can now search for files really fast and find them. We've added a thing called the action button. We found a lot of our users never found some of the cool things they could do. Some of them didn't even find Get Info. And so we pulled all that stuff under a button that's contextually sensitive. You push it, it'll show you exactly what you can do with a document or folder that you have selected. We've added labels. We got a lot of requests for labels. They're in there. As I mentioned earlier, we have dynamic network browsing. So you can dynamically search for Unix servers, for Windows servers, for any servers right from the Finder. We've got new open and safe panels that reflect this more user-centric point of view, much cleaner. And probably the best way is for me to show this to you now. So, the new Finder. Here we go. You see the left column right here? I can just click down it and see all my stuff. And I can go ahead and go into icon view again. Just bop around and see all of my stuff. Very easy. And I can shrink the window. There's a lot of fit and finish on this, so you'll notice the icons on the left shrink. Right? Just like this. Don't scroll till they have to. And I can drag stuff in. I can drag a folder I want anywhere in here if I want to. Just put it right there. And I click on that and I see its contents. If I'm tired of it, I just drag it out and it poofs. Okay. I can eject DVDs right from here with a rollover, right like this, so I don't even have to go to an eject button. And I can go on the network and see my servers right here and browse them dynamically. Now, let me go to my documents folder and, where's a, boom, boom, boom. I can go pick the action menu, and again, I can label something right like this. And boom, that's all it does. All it takes to set a label. It's very, very simple. And I've got fast search. So I'm in my home directory now. I can search all my hard disks or just my home directory or window it down to whatever I want. I'm going to look for all the Xserve documents in my home directory just by typing Xserve. So the minute I start to type, pretty cool, huh? And I'll keep going. I'll refine that to type in RAID, and boom, there's my Xserve Documents RAID. I can even type in extensions if I want to and find all those. I can find all the iMac documents, boom, or eMac documents, or PowerBook documents, boom. It's that fast. It's really, really cool. And so that's a brief overview of the new Finder, and I think you're going to like it a lot. It's user-centric. We've got fast searching. We've got the action button to pull together a lot of commands that people have never found, labels, dynamic network browsing, and new open and save panels that reflect the new user-centric sensibility. So this is the new Finder, and I think it's going to serve us well. I think we finally got there on the Finder with something that's the best the world's ever seen. Next is iDisk. We've enhanced iDisk significantly for Panther. iDisk, as you know, is for our .Mac customers, the hundreds of thousands of people that have signed up for .Mac. And iDisk has been a place where you can manually upload files to the .Mac server and manually download them. Well, that's all changing in Panther, because in Panther, we're automatically syncing the files. And what that means is that stuff that's on your iDisk will automatically sync with our servers on .Mac in both directions. And it does it in the background. So what it really means is your iDisk becomes basically a local folder that syncs. You don't put stuff in your iDisk to send it up to .Mac. You leave it in your iDisk. You can leave a document in your iDisk, open it up, modify it, close it. And the minute you close it, it will sync back up to .Mac in the background automatically. So you can just leave stuff in your iDisk. And this is pretty cool. It's a great way to back stuff up. But in addition to that, it really shines when you have more than one computer. If I have 3 computers here, each with their own iDisk, I can leave a copy of the same document in the iDisk of each one, open up the document in one of those iDisks, change it and close it, and it'll automatically sync back through .Mac to the other 2. It's really nice. In addition to this, it really works when you have untethered portables. You can be out in the field, not connected to a network, change a document in your iDisk. The minute you're connected to a network, whether you walk into an airport, a base station, or you hook back up to a terrestrial net, boom, that document that's changed will automatically sync with .Mac. It's really nice, and that is the new iDisk in Panther. Next up, we have a new feature called Exposé. What is Exposé? Well, we've made it so wonderful to use multiple apps at once that people do, right? The operating system's so bulletproof that if an app crashes, it doesn't crash the system. And we have such beautiful multitasking that you can have, 7, 8, 9, 10 apps open at once. I'm sure most of you do. So you've got Photoshop open, and you're working on a bunch of Photoshop images. You've got Mail open. You've got your browser open. You've got your address book open. And what do you end up with? This. Right? We've all been there. We all are there several times a day. And you want to find that one window you're looking for. How do you do it? All you want is to bring the one window you want to the front. So you move everything out of the way. You're on a scavenger hunt. Well, we figured out how to solve this in a wonderful way. Let me show you now. I'm going to start off by opening a lot of applications, and I'm just going to run a little Apple script to do that for me. It's going to open Mail. It's opening some Photoshop documents here. A few browser windows. All right. So I think that's probably about done. We've got a lot of stuff open here, and a lot of Photoshop windows, Photoshop palettes. How do I find something? Well, here's how we do it. You ready? Oh, just like this. Woo! Let me show you this in slow-mo. And as you notice, as I mouse around here, it shows me exactly what the windows are. Boom, right? Boom, 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 boom. Now, let's say I just want to see my Photoshop windows or one application's windows. Well, I select that application and I do this. Again, just the one app's windows. Notice the palettes fade away. The other apps highlight in the, dim out in the background, or I can go see all of them just like this. It's very, very nice. Let me show you this again in slow-mo here. And again, I can pick one, and when I do, they all just come back. Right? So boom, boom. Now, we've gone even further. How do you trigger this? Well, you can assign any key on your keyboard to do it, right? Or, if you have a 2-button mouse, you can assign the second button on the mouse. Or, you can assign screen corners. So I've got my screen corner set up where this one just does all these. Boom. I just go, just like a gesture. Boom. And this one is all the windows from the app that isn't currently active. Isn't that nice? Now, let me show you one other cool thing. I'm going to bring mail to the front here, and I want to mail some. I'm in the middle of composing something to somebody, and I say, check this out. And oh, you know, the file I want to send to them is on the desktop. What am I going to do? Do I want to close all these windows and have to reopen them? No. Expose lets me handle that too. It lets me assign another button to just clear all the windows off the desktop. Let's do that in slow-mo here. Oops, didn't want that. There we go. They just fly off to the nearest corner, right? And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to grab this, and I just drag a little bit and bring it up there and pop it in. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. So this is Expose, and let me quit all these apps. We think you're going to love it. So again, you can see your windows from just one app, all of your windows. Now how does this do this? It's using Quartz Extreme, the amazing graphics built into Mac OS X to do all of this so smoothly, so simply, with a great UI on top of it, that lets you instantly see all of your windows, instantly see just one app's windows, instantly clear all your windows to see your desktop, and you can activate it by using either screen corners or your keyboard or mouse. And to set up the activation, we have a special preference here that lets you set it up super easy. It's really, really nice, and we think Expose is going to save us all a whole lot of time. Okay, next up, File Vault. File Vault's a brand new feature in Mac OS X as well, and it came from requests from companies that said, look, we've got a ton of sensitive information on our notebooks. If people lose them, that sensitive information is available to a thief. What are we going to do about this? And we've done something about it. It's called File Vault, and it secures your entire home folder. You go to Preferences, you check on one checkbox, and it turns File Vault on. And File Vault encrypts and decrypts every file going in and out of your home directory on the fly. You don't even know it's happening. And once you log out, your stuff is safe. So it's security for your entire home directory with one checkbox built into Mac OS X. That's File Vault. We think it's going to be pretty popular. Next up, we've really improved mail for Panther. It's much better. Everything is a lot faster. We've got Safari HTML rendering built in via the SDK. Addresses are now objects. You can easily move them around. We've done that in a really nice way. You can now view and manage your mail by threads in a really cool way. So let me give you a few slides, and I want to go show this to you. For objects, addresses are objects. When you type them in, they become these objects. And you can even set it up so that any addresses outside a certain list of domains you've specified show up in red. So you know if you're sending something outside your company, say, and it can flag it. For viewing mail in threads, again, we've got something very, very nice. And let me show that to you now. So let me bring up mail. Here's mail. Let me put this away. And the first thing I want to show you is just some Safari HTML rendering right here. So this is the Wall Street Journal here, rendered right in Safari. Here's the New York Times. Just works beautifully. Here's iTunes Music Store and Music Tuesday email we do. And now, let's go to compose. So if I want to send a mail to John Rubenstein, his address is Ruby, and once I get it, I hit this, boom, it becomes an object. I'll send another one to Fred Anderson, there we go. And now I can just drag these around anywhere I want to, change the positions, and I can just, it's very, very easy. Now if I type Avi, Avi's got 2 email addresses. Oops, got to spell his name right. Avi's got 2 email addresses. One is .Mac and the other is Apple. I've got it set up so anything outside of Apple flags it. And boom, I can see, woo, if this is a confidential email, I might want to know this. But of course, Avi has got different email addresses. I can just go select the Apple one, and boom, it unflags it like that. So very, very simple. Easy to move this stuff around. Now, in terms of viewing mail as threads, this is a thread right here. I've got this little triangle over here. I can click on the thread, and I can see all the email in the thread, all the messages, and I can click on one and go right there, which is kind of cool. But I can open it as well. Boom, and there we go. It goes to the first unread message. I can zoom around and read any of these I want. I can just close it. And again, boom, go to the first unread one. I can close it from anywhere I want to. Boom. And this is how it works. It's really, really slick, and it's going to make viewing email and managing email so much easier. And again, I can be here and just click on one of these, and boom, I go immediately to that message. So that is the new mail in Panther. Addresses as objects, manage and view your email by threads. We also, again, as I mentioned, are shipping a new IPsec-based VPN. This is the new industry standard. Cisco's adopted it. Microsoft's adopted it. We're adopting it. It is built right into Panther. It's also built right into Panther Server if you want a complete VPN end-to-end solution. So that's new mail. By popular request, in Panther, we are building in fax. There are still some people that fax, if you can believe that. And what we are doing is putting a fax button on every single print panel, because if you think about it, faxing is just remote printing, isn't it? And that's what we're doing. So on every print panel, there is a fax button, and when you push that fax button, you get a fax panel that does full address completion with your fax numbers out of your address book and lets you set up, make sure you have the right modem, etc. Very, very simple. You push a fax button and you're faxing. It is built into Panther, built-in fax. Next one is really fun. It's called Pixlet. Pixlet is a breakthrough QuickTime codec. It is delivering studio-grade quality on a personal computer for the first time in history. No codec out there delivers studio-grade quality today. Now, why did we do this? Well, we got a request from a company that we like. Named Pixar, and what they wanted was they wanted to be able to compress their film-grade images enough to send them around their studio and still be able to use them, edit them, scrub them, and still be able to use them to make key decisions without seeing compression artifacts. A super high-quality codec for film-quality material. And that's what we've done in Pixlet. As a matter of fact, we even partially named Pixlet after them. The codec we built is based on wavelet technology, so we just took these two things and we put them together, and that's where Pixlet came from. And Pixlet delivers us film resolution that's high-def quality, high-definition quality, 48 bits per pixel source data. This is the only codec on a personal computer to go above 24 bits per pixel source data. This is essential for high-def and film quality resolution. No noticeable visual artifacts, key, and we're not doing interframe compression like everyone else does to get the compression ratios. We figured out how to do it without that, which means you can have easy editing and back and forth scrubbing, which is essential for the pro market. Now, what's just as cool as playing full high def is what you can do with half of high def. People use this a lot. That's 960 by 540 resolution with all the same properties, full screen, 24 frames per second with stereo sound. You can decode this on a 1 gigahertz G4 Mac, which means you can play this stuff on a titanium PowerBook. It's amazing, and the quality will blow you away. Let me show you. Okay. So, let me open Finding Nemo. This is a trailer for my favorite movie. And I'll just play this for you now. Look at the quality. And look at the lack of artifacts, which is really hard to do with this type of material.
There are 3.7 trillion fish in the ocean.
Find my son!
They're looking for one.
His son Bingo. Nemo was taken to Sydney.
It's in that direction.
Walt Disney Pictures presents a Pixar Animation Studios film.
Totally. I gotta find my son Nemo!
Go easy on him. He's lost his son, Bobby.
Now, let me show you a few things. We can just sit here and scrub this. At this kind of resolution, this is unheard of, and this kind of compression. Look at this quality here. Look at these frames. We've never seen a codec like this before on a personal computer. It's unbelievable. So, let me show you another one. This is the Matrix Reloaded. Same resolution, half of high def. Let me go ahead and... A lot more. Here, let me just scrub this for you again. Look at this. It's unbelievable, the kind of quality that we're seeing out of this codec. So, again, film resolution quality, 48 bits per pixel source data, no noticeable artifacts, and the ability to edit and scrub because we're not doing interframe compression. An amazing new high-def Pro codec built in to Panther. That's what Pixlet is. Next up is Preview. Now, Preview in Panther is the fastest PDF reader in the world. We've really done major work on this. Now, why do we care about this? Because PDF is at the core of Mac OS X. It's our graphics model for the entire system. Us and Adobe are pushing PDF out into the world, and the entire Creative Pro market has adopted it as their workflow, and everyone has adopted it as their machine-independent, operating system-independent document format on the internet. So reading PDFs is really important, and we've upgraded Preview to be the fastest PDF reader in the world. Now let me show you that. First of all is rendering. To demonstrate rendering, we picked a document, the PDF 1.4 spec. Why not? It's 978 pages long, and what does it take to scroll through it one page at a time as fast as the app will do? Well, let's take a look and compare it to Windows Acrobat 6 on the fastest PC money can buy. Right? Let's see what it looks like. Windows Acrobat 6 takes 71 seconds to scroll through that 978 page or whatever it was document. Preview takes 28 seconds, almost 3 times as fast. Next up is searching. Find all references to the word shade in the same document. 978 pages. Again, Windows Acrobat 6, 18 seconds, Preview 4 seconds. So we have got the fastest PDF renderer in the world, and let me show it to you. I will go back to the Finder here, and I will go to my Documents folder, and let's see, what have I got here? Here's the reference document that we were looking at. It's 978 pages. Takes a second to load in. Here it is, and I can just actually, here's the scroll test button. I mean, here's what it took to, go through that. We can take our 28 seconds, but again, we're imaging each page fully before we go on to the next, and you can see how fast this puppy renders. Excuse me. So, we'll just stop it here for a minute. No, guess it doesn't stop. Hopefully it won't start again. It did. All righty there. There we go. All right. There we go. Yeah, that's okay. We'll let it go. Again, we could do this almost 3 times before the Acrobat version would be done once. So. All right. And again, look at this. I'm scrolling through this thing, and it's rendering on the fly. It's not cached, and it's not missing a page. So pretty cool. All righty. So I'm going to put this one away. I'm going to get out another document that I'm a little more familiar with. And let's see here. I'm going to get, yes, this is an Xserve RAID tech overview. And we build thumbnails on the fly, as you can see right here. But I'm going to show you the searching. I'm going to search for cooling. And boom, it finds every instance of cooling in the document and highlights it for me here. You know? And it's that simple. It's really, really cool. So this is the new preview in Mac OS X Panther. Now, in addition to reading PDFs, as you know, in Mac OS X, you can create PDFs automatically from any application, whether it has that functionality in it or not, because we have a Save as PDF button on every print panel next to the Now Fax button, right in Panther. So you can create a PDF just by pushing one button from any app in the system, and you can read PDFs faster than anywhere else in the world. Fastest PDF reading, fastest PDF searching, create a PDF from any application, and also now new for Panther, we've got on-the-fly PostScript to PDF conversion. So we built it right into the operating system, instantaneous on-the-fly conversion. It also means if you've got an inkjet printer, you can vend it on the network as a PostScript printer to other folks, even Windows users. So you can take your inkjet printer, make it look like a PostScript printer right on the network. It's pretty cool. PDF is at the heart of 10, and we think you're going to love the new preview app because we're all reading PDFs more and more and more, and it's going to help us do it more efficiently. Next new feature in 10, fast user switching. This is one feature, I got to be honest, Windows beat us to this. It's the only feature in Mac OS X I can think of like that, but this is one. Windows XP has this. We're going to do it much nicer, but they actually beat us to it, and we're going to get there, catch up with them, and do it even nicer. Fast user switching. We're putting a menu up in the corner that allows you to switch between multiple users on a machine. You can require passwords or not require passwords, and this is a godsend for a household as an example. So let me show this to you. Here I am on my workspace over here, the thing I've been using to show you these demos. I've got my name up here because I've got fast user switching turned on, and these are the other people on the system. I can just go over here by pushing a button. She's got her dock set up like this. Let's go to Cindy. Let's go to Bobby. Bobby likes Finding Nemo. And if I want to go back to myself, I require a password because I don't want anybody messing with my files. So any of these can require a password to get back, like this. Some of these are set up without one. Isn't this cool? So fast user switching. Boom. That simple. Very, very cool. With the Apple Touch, we think you're going to like it. Another new Pro feature that we've added, based on a lot of requests, is called FontBook. FontBook is an application that we've written that does Pro font management. We've gotten a lot of requests from our creative professionals for this, and it's really cool. When you click on a font now, when you drag a font over to the desktop, let's say, and you click on it, this is what happens. You get a panel, it shows you the font, and with one button, boom, you install the font. So the font's now installed, and you run FontBook pops up, and this is what it looks like. It lists all your fonts right here, shows you any font you want at any size, has categories or collections of fonts on the left, and it also has a way to find fonts really fast, instant searching like you've seen in so many other things in Panther here today. You just type in, let's say I want to type in condensed. I type in condensed, and boom, you see only the condensed fonts show up. Or I type in caption, and boom, only the caption fonts show up. Out of thousands of fonts you may have, it happens boom like that. It's very, very good. You can disable, enable fonts, create special collections for each project that you're working on. It's very, very cool, and we think our creative professionals are going to love it. It's built in to Panther. I've saved the best for last. So, iChat. iChat has been a really popular feature in Jaguar. About 25% of our customers are using it routinely. We think that's about to go up. Because in Panther, We are taking iChat to iChat AV. The A stands for audio, the V stands for video. iChat AV goes beyond just text chats and to the instant messaging infrastructure adds audio chats over the internet and video chats. It's remarkable. It is video conferencing for the rest of us. It is one of the coolest things we've ever done. And we realized that video conferencing was really just the ultimate instant messaging. And so we built it right into that wonderful infrastructure, and you can access it right from your buddy list. Right from the buddy list. So we have now text, audio, and video chats. Zero setup or configuration. Zero. You literally plug in the camera, and everything else is done automatically. You don't have to know if your buddy has a camera or a setup for audio conferencing. It figures it out and shows you right on your buddy list what they're set up for. There is zero setup or configuration. There are no phone numbers or IP addresses to type in. This all works off the instant messaging infrastructure, so all you have to have is their buddy name. That's it. No matter where they are. It is location independent. As I travel around and connect to the network, I'm automatically telling the instant messaging server where I am. And so you, as a sender to me, know exactly where I am. You don't have to know. And if I'm going to call somebody, I got a pretty good idea if they're there because instant messaging provides presence as well. So we're leveraging the entire instant messaging infrastructure. It's not like making a phone call where I got to know, you've got a work, a home, and a mobile number. I got to call each one, and you might not be at any of them, right? Or you might have changed them. We don't have to worry about any of that with instant messaging because the infrastructure handles it all. Wherever you are, all I have to do is click on your name, and boom, we're connected. And you can get a buddy name. You can get a free AIM name from AOL. You can get a free .Mac buddy name from Apple. Or you can use your rendezvous buddy list and just connect with the people around you on an ad hoc basis. iChat AV works with any FireWire camera, built-in or USB microphones. You can even use camcorders if you have one. It's really amazing. You need a modem. A 56K modem is all you need for audio chats. Free long-distance phone calls over the net if you've got an ISP connection. It's amazing. And you need broadband for video conferencing. And that means DSL, cable, T1 or Ethernet. But you know what? A whole lot of people have this now. Every business has broadband. Most schools in this country have broadband. Many hotels now have Ethernet jacks right in the rooms. And over 25 million homes have broadband. A lot of people have broadband. And we think this is really ripe to take off. This is video conferencing for the rest of us. And we've waited a long time to show you this, but I'd like to show you. Now, my friend and yours, Phil Schiller, is in the back room. And we're connecting to AIM right now. Get this stuff here. And I'm going to go ahead and call Phil. And the way I call Phil is I just go over to my buddy list, and there he is, and I can pick his name and pick this little camera down here. I can just click the camera right next to his picture. I click the camera, and I get a little preview here, right there. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing?
How's it going? Oh, I'm having a blast back here.
Hey, listen, I'm sorry you couldn't be out on stage with me, but we wanted to put you in like a home setting or something like that. Look, I can just stretch this out here, anything I want. Tell us something, Phil.
Oh, I know how Alexander Graham Bell and Mr. Watson must have felt in that first call. Come here, Steve, I need you.
And we can even make this full screen. Look at this. So
cool. Gonna go long. This is amazing. We're going to have so much fun with this.
You know, we've been using this, a few of us have been using this internal to Apple for over a month now, and this has completely changed the way that we work. I can call Phil up now at 11 o'clock at night and see him. Well, listen, Phil, I will talk to you later. Thank you very much for being the first public video conference we've ever done with iChat AV.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, for my second thing, I'm going to do an audio conference, but I'm going to do an audio conference that's a little hard. I'm going to do an audio conference to Paris. One of my colleagues and a very good friend of mine is named Jean-Marie Hulot, and he agreed to stay in Paris for us. Excuse me. So we're going to do an audio conference with him, hopefully. Again, just across the pond, over the internet. It takes a little while longer to negotiate with France here, but... Hello.
Hello.
Jean-Marie.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm really good. How you doing?
I'm doing extremely well. We have incredible weather in Paris. When are you coming?
Oh, I don't know, but not today.
I know, but...
As you can hear, not only do we have incredibly high-quality audio in iChat AV, but it's like you have a speakerphone. You have the highest quality speakerphone you've ever heard. So what's going on there, Jean-Marie?
I mean, I'm outside of my balcony. It's quite late here, so I'm ready for dinner in 30 minutes or so.
Well, listen, as I recall, because I've been to your house, you live near the Eiffel Tower, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I sure wish I could see it. Listen, do you have a video camera there?
Yeah, I can plug it in.
Why don't you plug it in? I'll call you right back.
Okay.
Ciao.
I'll do that immediately.
Bye-bye. So now, Jean-Marie's going to plug in his video camera. Watch that icon up there change from a phone to a camera, hopefully, in a minute or two. See that? Now, notice this. So I'm waiting. I get a chance to preview myself, but we're going to be talking to Paris live here on iChat AV. Hey, Jean-Marie. How you doing? So, let me put this on full screen. I tell you, we were doing this yesterday afternoon when it was dark in Paris and all the lights of the Eiffel Tower were on, and you could see people taking flash pictures from the top. It was extraordinary. You can see some cars in the background going by.
Do you want me to take the camera and show it to you?
So
but best you call back in 1 hour or 2 hours, it would be nice, and you would get the lights on the Eiffel Tower. It would be great.
Okay. Again, this is totally going to change the way we work. So Jean-Marie, you are the first international iChat we've ever done. Would you like to say anything to the audience here?
First I would say it is great for me, because I will have to go less to the US to see you, Steve. I like that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jean-Marie. Bye-bye, Jean-Marie. Take care. All right. Woo! Now, so this is what it's like when I have placed a call, but what's it like to receive a call? Well, I've got somebody who's going to call me right about now. We'll see. And hopefully their call will come in any second. But this is going to change totally the way we communicate with each other. It has in the first month among us already, and we didn't have very many people to talk to because we're keeping this very hush-hush. So we cannot wait until we have hundreds of people to talk to. Well, what do you know? There it is. So this is what I get. I click on this and I get a chance to pretty myself up and before I accept it, and I accept it here. Hi, Al.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
How you doing, Al?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, listen, where are you?
I'm down in L.A. at UCLA. I'm a part-time visiting professor here, or VP for short. It's the way of hanging on.
Well, Al, you
That's
are...
not funny.
Al, you're the third video conference that we've ever conducted publicly with iChat AV. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, well, being first is difficult.
Yeah. I like your shirt, by the way. It shows up real well.
Hey, listen, seriously, this thing is very cool. It really is.
Well, you're the first board member of Apple to actually use it. I want you to know that. So.
Well, I feel privileged indeed, but I really am looking forward to using this regularly and clipping it to the top of my 17-inch laptop and calling Tipper at home. And I mean, this is going to be a great, great thing, no question about it.
Well, thank you very much, Al. I really appreciate this.
See you soon.
All right. Take care. So, iChat AV, text, audio, video conferencing. It's going to be a really big deal for education. It's going to be a really big deal for work. When you're on the road, for your family, and for your friends. And it's all driven off instant messaging. Now, iChat AV is standards-based. We're using total standard video codecs, audio codecs, everything else. But we're the first ones to do this. We've got the first solution that really works. So right now, there's nobody else to talk to. This is Mac to Mac only today. But as others copy what we do, we will endeavor to interoperate with them and do our best for that. So iChat AV, we are going to release a free beta today that runs on Panther and Jaguar. The beta times out at the end of this calendar year, December 31st. And before then, we are going to include it in Panther. We're going to sell it for $29 for Jaguar, the 1.0, as an incentive for you to upgrade to Panther. So iChat AV, video conferencing for the rest of us, the ultimate instant messaging. So Panther, what an amazing array of stuff we've seen today. iChat AV, the new Finder, fast user switching, Expose, File Vault, Pixlet, Font Book, new mail, built-in fax, and these are just a few of the over 100 amazing new features in Panther. We are super, super proud of it. Now, we want you to be the first to have it. So we've got a developer preview of Panther, and we are going to be giving you a copy today. We are going to ship Panther commercially before the end of this year. We're going to sell it for $129, and we think it's going to be one kick-ass release. Now, what's the competitive landscape look like out there? Well, we know where we're going to be in 2003. We're going to be ready. Now, our competition was going to be out in 2004. They've slipped to 2005, and some people tell us they might even slip to 2006. We don't know. But this is what they're up to. So that's Panther. No offense to our colleagues at Microsoft. We actually do have a great relationship with them. That is Panther. And we think it's going to be incredible. So, next big topic. I want to go back to iChat AV. Because iChat AV has a companion product that we're announcing here today. It's a video camera, and it's called iSight. You might have seen one on my computer over there. iSight is the eyes and ears of iChat, and it's a remarkable video camera. It delivers full motion video at up to 30 frames per second, 640 by 480 resolution at 24 bits per pixel, autofocus. It's got an f2.8 lens, so it takes in a lot of light, which is great for low light conditions. Auto exposure, built-in dual element microphone for noise suppression, and one single FireWire brings video into the computer and audio into the computer and powers the camera, just with one FireWire connection. Now, we said that iChat AV works with any FireWire camera, and it does. The most popular of those is the iBot, and actually probably the best is the iBot. And so I want to show you a comparison between the iSight and the iBot. This is the iBot, took it myself here, and that's what it looks like. And it's okay, but look at iSight. Boom. It's dramatically better. We've got dramatically better lens, dramatically better sensor. We've got a lot of video processing involved that really cleans up the image. It is dramatically better. But the iBot's even worse than this. Because I had somebody holding up an iBot to take that picture of me. They held it up on top of the screen. But that's not where the iBot sits. The iBot sits on your desk. And so you don't get a picture like this. You get a picture like this. And we believe this is one of the reasons that video conferencing has failed. This and the fact that it's impossible to configure and set up and the quality's not been good enough. But we think camera position is also one of the reasons. You don't form any connection with that person on the right. There's no emotional connection, as where the one on the left you do. You see their face, you see their eyes. And it's a really big deal, we found out. Well, how do we keep iSight in the right position? We've built a really nice mounting system for iSight. It mounts on portables. Look at this. It just clips right onto your PowerBooks or iBooks. It sticks right onto the back of your iMacs with a different mount, or your cinema displays, or with a different mount right on the top of your eMac. And so the camera is always right on the top of your screen where it needs to be to make that emotional connection with the person on the other end. And so ScreenTop blows away having a camera on the desk. So iSight. 3 stands for top-of-screen mounting are included with each iSight. It's got an integrated rotate and tilt. It's got a lens shutter so you can make sure nobody's looking at you. Lightweight, durable aluminum body, and a hard carrying case. So here's the shutter. Boom. You know, no peeping Toms here. Right? And for portables, again, it clips right on your portable with a special mounting stand. And you can take the camera off. We've got a nice hard plastic case. You can take it with you in your PowerBook. I've had calls from Phil where he's been traveling. Within 5 minutes of getting in his hotel room, he's paid the $10 for the Ethernet service for the day, taken out his camera, and we're video conferencing at very high quality. It's amazing. So iSight, that's what the box looks like. iSight cost $149. It's the best. It is the best video camera on the market for this use, and it's got, remember, dual element microphone built in as well for very high quality audio. It's available today, and for all of the developers here at the conference, we want to say a very special thank you. We're going to be giving you an iSight camera today. We want to kick video conferencing off right, and we know you are the guys to do it. So you can pick it up at the registration area after the keynote or throughout the day. So that's iSight. It's an amazing camera, and it's the eyes and ears of iChat. Okay, next big topic. What's this? This is called Xcode. We have a completely new set of developer tools for you for Mac OS X. And what is the single word we followed as our Bible? Speed. Number one thing. So let me tell you about Xcode. Number one, fast compiles. We're using the new GCC 3.3 compiler, the latest and the greatest, and it's definitely faster. To show you how fast, I'm going to show you the results of the build of the UI portion of the Finder. It's over 100,000 lines of code and over 1,500 files. Now, remember, Jaguar development tools used to be 10 times slower than the gold standard up to today, which is Code Warrior. We were 10 times slower. So to build the Finder UI in Xcode took 377 seconds, And to build it in Code Warrior is 223. They are still faster than us, but we've reduced it to under 2 to 1. And that's not a bad accomplishment. We're going to keep on going. But we love to be number one. Really. And so we've changed the rules of the game. We have added distributed builds, which means you can set up Xcode to automatically use idle resources on the net completely automatically. And so, let's go look at that same build. There's Xcode and there's Code Warrior, same numbers as before. But if we add just one more machine on the net that Xcode can go find out there, we are now down to 208 seconds with one more dual 1 gigahertz G4 on the net. And if we add 3 more for a total of 4 additional hosts, we are down to under 100 seconds. And if you've got a team of developers, you should run out and buy one of these. So, that's fast compiles. Now we want to address turnaround, because we've got fast turnaround. The turnaround loop, of course, is where most developers spend most of their time. They've got to stop their app, they've got to debug it, they've got to recompile it, relink it, and start it up again, right? This is the classic turnaround loop. Well, we've got some cool new technologies. First one built into Xcode, zero link. We've removed the need to link. We only link objects you need to launch. And so it takes linking completely out of the equation. Boom, gone. Link time, over. Zero. Zero link. Next, we got predictive compile. What is this? This actually starts compiling while you're still editing. It literally starts compiling before you even think you want to compile. And so what it does is it removes half the compiling time on average. Literally shortens it by a factor of 2. Boom, there goes half the compiling time. And lastly, we have a technology called fix and continue. You can make changes to applications while they are running. You do not have to stop them. And so this takes this out completely. Turns out this is a lot of time. So a single fix turnaround. Let's see what it takes running on the same machine. In Jaguar Tools took 29 seconds. In Code Warrior took 9 seconds. In Xcode, 3 seconds. It's really fast stuff. And so we have reduced the turnaround from this to this. We've also put a new interface on it that is just so much better than what we had. We've cleaned it up and we've made it, put the most relevant stuff right in front of you and allowed you to find stuff super fast. And to demonstrate this for us, it's my pleasure actually to introduce Apple employee number 8, somebody I've known for a long time, somebody we hired when he was 15 years old, Chris Espinoza.
Yep. Really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be here. I've been working with Apple Developer Tools literally since Integer Basic in the garage in 1976. And I got to say, this is the best thing we've ever done in Developer Tools, and I want to show it to you. The first thing you notice about Xcode is that it's beautiful, it's clean, it looks a lot like your iApps. We took the ideas from Panther and from some of the iApps, and we put the things that are important to you in a column on the left. So here's your typical view of your source code. Now this is source code for iTunes. This is iTunes 3. This is a big application. This is a Carbon application. This is even a power plant application, and I'm going to show you using it in Xcode. You've got your traditional view of your folders and your files, but we figured you deserved a list view and instant searching too. So if I want to find all of the files in my project that have to do with playlists, I just go to the search box, and there we go. There are all my playlist files. It's not like type select. It's filtering just like in the Finder. Now that works not just on my project, but it works on other things in my project as well. So I go to my targets, I select a target, I get a list here, I can search on that. And if I go to the inspector for my target, and I look at all my target settings, here are all the project settings and all the compiler settings and all my linker settings for that target. Well, say I want to change the optimization in this target. I don't know which one of these I need to change. There are so many, and this is just the summary view. So I go to the instant search box, and I narrow it down, and I find my optimization settings, and they're right there. I select it, and it says optimization level. Maybe I want to know what that means. Well, I've got the explanation right here in the inspector. And we've got smart groups for all of your executables, or smart groups for all of your resource files. We've even got a smart group for all the symbols in your built project. This is 27,000 symbols in my database. I can scroll through them, and I can search instantly. For example, I want to find everywhere where ASCII is used in the symbols in the iTunes source base. There we go. I can select one of these and jump right to its definition right in the Xcode editor. I think you're going to see that this completely changes the way that you work with your source code. It's going to make it a lot faster to find what you're editing, to get to your source code, and to find your way around your project. But when you said speed and when you said fast, you meant compile speed. Let me show that to you. So I've got my project here. I've got it sorted by the code size of the object. I'm going to do a build here. And you can see the compiled executables coming in that fast. This is CodeWarrior class compilation speed. This is going to be a lot more familiar to you if you've been using CodeWarrior as a compiler. But like Steve said, compilation speed isn't everything. You spend a lot of time in your compile, edit, link, debug cycle. And we've really shortened that. And I want to show you how we do that with a little toy application called Flower here. And when I run and debug the Flower application, it should come up, draw a flower on the screen. Well, that's not a very interesting flower, is it? So I know that there's something that controls the number of petals, and it's something called petals. So I'll do a find here, and I'll find petals. And there we go. There are my search results. I can double-click, go right to the line of code. Well, it looks like for test purposes, I just put 1 in here for the number of petals. I'll just select it, delete it. Now, the compiler's already kicked in. It's already compiling my precompiled headers and my header files for my source file, and it's ready to go. When I press fix, it's going to finish up the compile, it's going to link, it's going to build, and it's going to change my code. Now, you might say that's cheating. I just changed 1 to a 4. I mean, I could do that with peek and poke, okay? No, this is really recompiling the object and using Mach-O and DYLD to dynamically link in the object to the running application. So I can change this constant to a function call, click fix, and it does the same thing. There we go. So where it really matters, where the rubber meets the road in the compile, link, debug, step through, find a fix, fix it, and get back to work debugging your application, Xcode really makes your turnaround time incredibly faster. It's the best thing we've ever done in developer tools. There's going to be a whole couple hours on it at 3:30 this afternoon in the same room. Hope to see you there. Thank you very much.
Woo. Thank you, Chris. So, faster compiler, GCC 3.0, distributed compiling, zero link, predictive compiling, fix and continue in an entirely new user interface. This is Xcode. It is included in Mac OS X Panther. There is one more thing we wanted to talk about today. Now, some of you may have noticed on the net this. For those of you that have not been aware, there was a funny thing that happened on our website last Thursday, as I recall, where some specifications were posted on a PowerMac G4 page. It looked pretty remarkable. Now, the reaction to these specifications fell into one of three camps. One, it's too good to be true, can't be true. Nothing could ever be this good. Number two, it's true. And number three, it's brilliant marketing on Apple's part. We internally, one of the folks internally had a great name for this. He called it premature specification. But I am here today to tell you that it was a mistake, and it's true. But it doesn't even begin to tell the story that we get to tell you right here and now. We are delivering today the world's fastest personal computer. It's amazing. Now, there's three things. There's the chip, there's the system, and there's the product. And we're calling it the G5. Now, the G5 has some amazing properties. Number one, it is a 64-bit processor. It is the world's first 64-bit desktop processor. And it runs our existing 32-bit applications natively, no problems at all. 64-bit processor. Secondly, it is running at up to 2 gigahertz. This is the fastest 64-bit processor ever. Third, it has a 1 gigahertz front-side bus. It is the fastest front-side bus ever. And it is built for full symmetric multiprocessing. This thing has been designed from the ground up for dual processor systems. So, these are some of the highlights of the new G5. Now, it's got an entirely new architecture that has the industry's highest bandwidth. And let's just go through it for just a minute. First of all, it's massively parallel. It's got a 12-unit core. And what that means is we can have up to 215 in-flight instructions. Over 215 instructions can be being processed at the same time. The G4 can do 16, which means if your app can get this thing flying, it can scream. It's got an optimized velocity engine with a dual pipeline design. It's got 2 double precision floating point units. That's twice the G4. This thing is a floating point monster, as you will see. 2 fully symmetric integer units, that's twice the G4. 2 load and store units, twice the G4. And massive branch prediction logic, which I don't know what it does, predicts branches. I don't know. But it's a good thing. So, this is a new generation architecture, and this is just the beginning. And IBM has done a phenomenal job on this. We've worked with them very closely. And they also happen to have the world's most advanced chip fabrication on the planet. 130 nanometer process this is built in, silicon on insulator, 8-layer copper interconnects, 58 million transistors. I don't know how they count them. This thing is built on 300 millimeter wafers. These are 12-inch wafers. I happen to have one right now. This is how they build G5s. It's amazing. It's just amazing. And they build it in a $3 billion state-of-the-art semiconductor fabrication facility in Fishkill, New York, built in the USA. Now, this is what it's like. This is a city down there. It's amazing. And this is the map of the city. This is the processor itself, and this is how they're made. And they're made on these giant 12-inch wafers, untouched by human hands, in the most advanced semiconductor factory in the world, where robots move the wafers around. There are no people getting anywhere near these wafers. This is what it's like. It's a giant factory making these giant wafers. And we are thrilled with this partnership with IBM. It's producing dramatic results that we're announcing here today. And it's my pleasure to bring up Dr. John E. Kelly III. John's the Senior Vice President of all the technology groups at IBM. John, I'd like to welcome you here. Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. What a great day for Apple, for IBM, for our Apple developers and Apple customers. So you're probably thinking, how did we do this? How did we catch up, and how do we pass our competition in one giant step? Well, what we did is we went to IBM and we took the DNA, the core, out of our highest performance 64-bit microprocessor supercomputers and brought it down into the 64-bit desktop processor, operating at 2 gigahertz, with a bus, as we showed, at 1 gigahertz. And the technology, we took our most advanced 130 nanometer technology, which, by the way, has a gate length, if you're a real geek like me, of under 50 nanometers. Horizontally, we shrunk to 13 angstroms, 6 to 7 atomic layers in the gate. This is very advanced technology. And that's why, by the way, I tell my boss it costs $3 billion for one of these fabs. Only IBM, in partnership with Apple, can produce this kind of technology, and I'm very proud of our teams and all that we've done. But team, this is just the beginning. As you know, IBM spends nearly $5 billion per year on R&D, in addition to big fabs like this. And much of that spending is aimed at our advanced microprocessor and semiconductor technology. And as we sit here today and as we speak, there are hundreds of IBM scientists and engineers working on the next generation. So we have a roadmap that's going to knock your socks off. And what a great partnership we have with Apple. Steve, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We've been waiting for this day for a long time. We've been working very closely with IBM for several years now to create this G5, and it is so exciting to launch it here today. So this is the chip. Now, let's build a system with it. We start off building a system, even before we get to the processor, with a chip that Apple designed. It's the G5 system controller, and it's among the world's fastest ASICs. It's got a point-to-point architecture, so there's no contention between the various things that want to send data around through the system. Dedicated bandwidth to main memory for each subsystem. We designed it, and IBM is fabricating it in the same state-of-the-art facility that's building the G5. So this is our system controller. Now to that, let's add a G5. The G5, as we talked about, has a 1 gigahertz bus. That's 6 times faster than the G4. 8 gigabytes per second of bandwidth into this processor. 64-bit wide bus, double data rate, bidirectional. It screams. And we can add a second processor. Now, when you add 2 processors, this is where these independent buses really come into play, because one processor does not slow down the other one at all. They're completely independent. We have 12 times the bandwidth of the G4 here, and again, there's no contention for the bus, no slowdown when you add a second processor. Then we add memory. We decided to go with the hottest memory money can buy, and that is 400 megahertz, 128-bit wide DDR memory, over twice the bandwidth of the G4. We can get 6.4 gigabytes per second of bandwidth out of this memory system and into those processors. Now let's add graphics. For graphics, again, we decided to use the latest and the greatest, AGP8X Pro graphics. Twice the bandwidth of the G4, 2 gigabytes per second. We got the latest chips from NVIDIA and ATI, and we power Pro cards. You can put in the really high-end Pro cards if that's what you want. So next, we start to put on the I/O slots. Again, the latest and greatest, 133 megahertz PCIX slots, almost 8 times the bandwidth of the G4, 2 gigabytes per second. We connect the slots with hypertransport into the main G5 system controller. We got 133 megahertz 64-bit slot and 200 megahertz 64-bit slots. And next, let's connect our storage. For storage, again, we turn to the latest technical standards, and that is serial ATA to connect to the drives, 1.5 gigabit per second of bandwidth. We got independent interfaces to each drive, again, so there's no contention. This is an Apple-designed I/O chip, again connecting to the mothership G5 controller with hypertransport. And lastly, the rest of the I/O coming off this Apple-designed I/O chip, we've built in an incredible suite of high-performance I/O. We've got FireWire 800 and 400, USB 2.0, Gigabit Ethernet, Airport Extreme, Bluetooth, and for the first time, optical, digital, in and out, as well as analog audio in and out. So, this is our system, and we're mighty proud of it. We think it is the beginning of a whole new generation of architecture for Apple. So, that is the system. What kind of product are we going to build out of this? Well, the first thing is we're going to build products that have single or dual processors, obviously. Up to 8 gigabytes of memory. We are going to break through the 4 gigabyte barrier, and on this system ship up to 8 gigabytes of memory. Now, why is this so important? Obviously, if you have stuff that takes more than 4 gigabytes, it becomes extremely important. But it's even important in more subtle ways. The G5, as we said, is a monster in terms of bandwidth. And talking to the disk drive, it can talk at 150 megabytes per second if only the disk drives would feed data that fast. But to memory, it can talk at 6.4 gigabytes per second. That's over 40 times faster. And so with more memory, what that means is you can leave stuff in memory and not have to swap it off a disk. This is huge for certain applications. 40 times faster. This is so fast that you can transfer the contents of an entire DVD in less than a second. So 8 gigabytes of memory. We're building in a 4X super drive into all the models. We're building in GeForce FX 5200 Ultra chip into the 2 lower-end models. And a Radeon 9600 Pro, one of the hottest mainstream graphics chips around, into the high-end model. You can configure it however you want on our website, however. Now, all this great stuff, should we put it in here? No. No. We need a much more advanced enclosure to hold our next generation system. And we've been working on it for some time, and it is really exciting. It looks like this. Like that. And let's go ahead and show it to you now. There it is. This is an all-aluminum enclosure. This is an all-aluminum enclosure that is super high-tech and can handle the power, both processing power and thermal power, generated by such an architecture and its follow-ons to come. I've left the door open off the side so you can see this thing. It is a thing of beauty. Now, let me show you better on slides the inside. So we've got our enclosure here. We take, this is the front. As you can see, we want to get a lot of air in the front. There's the back. As you can see, we want to get a lot of air out of the back. So let's take off the door. Now, there's a piece of plastic on the inside which routes the air around. Let's take that off. And you can see the 2 processors, place for cards, place for rotating storage. This enclosure has 4 separate thermal zones. One that goes through the power supply at the bottom, one that goes through the processor bay and the memory, one that goes through the I/O cards, and one that goes through the rotating storage. In this enclosure, we've got a breakthrough. This whole thing has got computer-controlled cooling system in it. We've got 9 fans in this enclosure. Now, you might think, oh my God, 9 fans means it's going to be 9 times louder. No. It turns out the opposite is true. Because by putting the fans precisely where they're needed and independently controlling them all, we can make it a lot quieter. A lot quieter. As a matter of fact, we're down to 35 dBA at normal use at room temperature. This is twice as quiet as the latest G4. So, this is an amazing architecture. It's an amazing enclosure that's going to give us a tremendous amount of room to grow. So the systems we're going to build are going to have single or dual G5 processors, up to 8 gigabytes of memory, up to 500 gigabytes of internal storage, half a terabyte, 4x super drive. They're much quieter, using an advanced cooling system, and the very professional aluminum enclosure, super rugged and super beautiful. So this is the new G5 enclosure. And again, I want to stress, we're the only folks that put handles on things. Because our pro customers love them, to be able to take these machines around, swap them in and out when they need to. This is huge. Nobody else in the whole industry does this, and we've kept that on the new G5 enclosure. The new PowerMac G5. It's going to come in 3 models. We got 3 models. The first model, a single 1.6 gigahertz G5 chip, 1/4 gigabyte of memory, 80 gigabytes of hard drive, GeForce 5200, 4x super drive, $19.99. Second model, 1.8 gigahertz processor, step up 200 megahertz, double the memory, double the disk size, for only $400 more at $23.99. Third model, dual 2 gigahertz, Radeon 9600, $29.99. Now, these are the models we're going to have on the channel. Of course, you can go to the website and configure anything you want. So what's the competitive landscape like? Well, obviously, we turn to Dell. Right? They're the low-cost provider in the PC space, and we configured a system that isn't even as fast as the one that we have here for $29.99. Dual 3 gigahertz Xeon systems, 533 megahertz bus, the fastest PC money can buy. Same amount of memory, not quite as much disk, something that's not quite as good as a super drive, but we got as close as we could. And what do you think it costs? You can go do this today on Dell's website. Over $4,000. So from now on, anyone who tells you that Apple's high-end machines are more expensive than PCs, you can tell them where to look. The new PowerMac G5s, we're going to ship them in August. All 3 models. And that is the product with the system and the chip. So what kind of performance are we getting out of this thing? Well, I'm pleased to report that this is the world's fastest personal computer. Now let's prove that. To prove that, there's 2 places to turn. One is analytic tests, and the most respected tests in the world are called spec tests. And second is real-world applications. So let's start off looking at spec tests. We're going to compare 3 systems with 3 chips in them. Number 1, 2 gigahertz G5 with a 1 gigahertz bus. Second, a 3.0 gigahertz Pentium 4 with an 800 megahertz bus, the fastest we can get our hands on, the fastest you can buy. And a 3.06 gigahertz Xeon processor, again, the fastest Xeon you can buy. And we're going to compare them in spec tests. These are industry standard tests run on these machines. We're going to use GCC 3.3 because we want to use an open source compiler that's the same compiler on all machines, and the compiler we all use, by the way. And there's a lot of test houses that help verify these things, and we hired one of the best, Veritest, to do independent tests and provide independent test results. So first we're going to start off with single processor tests. And there's three systems we want to test. One with a single P4, one with a single Xeon, and one with a single G5. And let's see how they did in two tests. One that measures integer performance, spec INT 2000, and one that measures floating point performance, spec FP 2000. Well, the P4 scored 889 on integer, 836 on integer for the Xeon, and the G5 scored 800. Not quite as high, single processor integer. Let's see how we did on floating point. 693 for the P4, 646 for the Xeon, 840 for the G5. So we are 10% slower on integer and 21% faster on floating point. I think we can safely say that we basically caught up with a single processor system, the fastest you can buy. But now let's look at dual processor, because this is the heavyweight championship. This is what determines the fastest computer in the world, because a dual Xeon system beats a single P4 system. And you can't put two P4s together. Intel limits you from doing that, so you buy Xeons, right? So this is what's going to determine what is the fastest computer in the world. Now we're going to put a single P4 up for reference here. Again, you can't hook two P4s together in a system. And we're going to take a look at spec tests for dual processor system. They're called rate tests. Spec int rate and spec floating point rate. Again, on integer, single P4, 10.3 on the spec rate test. Dual Xeon, you can see the benefit now of adding that second processor, 16.7. Dual G5, 17.2. We edge them out on integer. Now let's go to floating point. 8.1 for the single Pentium, 11.1 for the dual Xeon, 15.7 for the dual G5. We are 3% faster on integer and a whopping 41% faster on floating point than the dual Xeon machines. And we can now clearly say that the new PowerMac G5 is the world's fastest personal computer. Now that's spec tests. What about real-world apps? Well, let us show you a few. Because today we're going to have a dual. Dual G5s versus dual Xeons. The fastest PC money can buy, a 3.06 gigahertz dual Xeon machine compared with a dual G5 PowerMac G5. First up, it's my pleasure to welcome from Adobe, Greg Gilley, who's the Vice President of Engineering. Greg, welcome.
So Adobe's been working very closely with Apple over the past couple of months to tune our app's performance for the new G5, and we've been pretty impressed. So on some areas of Photoshop, we have seen performance that's more than double any of the other machines that we've ever seen. The memory bandwidth on this machine is absolutely amazing. Even one of my most skeptical engineers got really excited about this box. He's sitting down here laughing. So we're going to release an update, a performance update for Photoshop around the same time these machines ship. We're convinced that our customers are going to love this box. And if you've been waiting to switch your Macs to Mac OS X, here's the perfect opportunity to pick up a hot box and make this switch. We've also been working with Apple on performance on Mac OS X, and it's just going to keep getting better. So one more thing. I know I have a bunch of engineers out there who are seeing this box for the first time, and I know you're drooling. And the good news is, at these prices, you're likely to get one. So, thank you.
Now, I'd like to invite Phil Schiller up, our Senior Vice President for Worldwide Product Marketing, back from the bookcase.
The library.
And so, Phil, what are we going to do today here?
Oh, I've been dying to do this for so long. Up on the screen, on the left-hand side, you see a brand new PowerMac G5, dual 2 gigahertz streaming machine. On the right, we have a Dell, the fastest money can buy PC, dual 3.0 Xeons.
3.06.
3.06 Pentium 4, 3.0 for the Xeons. And I had to break the bank to buy one, but I got the approval to do so. And we're going to do a head-to-head test, a real-world application test using Adobe Photoshop. As many of you know, it runs both on Mac and Windows. And one of the great things about Photoshop is not only can you copy the same files and run it on both machines, you can run a list of actions that the artist actually did to create their documents and see how they run side by side.
And so we've got, again, dual G5s running at 2 gigahertz and dual Xeons running at 3.06. Now we're going to use a document that's one of my favorite. It's actually a real poster that was done. This is the international poster for Finding Nemo. And it's actually been, we got it from the artist that did it. It's been printed and it's in hundreds of countries, well, dozens of countries around the world. So,
okay.
Ready?
You want to count us down?
Great. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so we're opening up this file. It's over 360 megabytes. It has over 100 actions that the artist did to create this movie poster. It does things like transforms, dissolves, Gaussian blurs, lighting effects, compositing, and the PC is not hung, it's thinking really hard. We're continuing to scream along on the G5, getting real work done, and the artist working on the PC probably just went to get a latte. And there, the
Mac is done. Woo! It will finish. Turns out we've timed this, and it's about 2.1%. The Mac is 2.1 times as fast as the PC. All right, the PC's almost done. It's done! Woo! Thank you, Phil.
Yes, Steve.
So, that is an extraordinarily important app, Photoshop. Now let's move on to Luxology. Luxology makes products for 3D communications. And it's my pleasure to welcome Brad Peebler, the co-founder and president of Luxology. Brad? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brad Peebler of Luxology. Luxology is a new company with the sole intent of developing killer technology for 3D visual effects and content creation. Now, there's one constant in our space, the need for speed. If you're going to keep up with the high-end requirements for today's television, film, and gaming visual effects, you need a couple things. First of all, you need raw CPU performance. Second of all, you need really wide pipes for managing and manipulating all that data. Well, that's why when we saw the specs on the G5, we were ecstatic. We were even happier to find out that our 32-bit app would run on their 64-bit chip natively. Of course, we wanted to recompile the app for the G5. So how long did that take? I know you developers are all curious about the migration process. Well, we started our projects using Apple development tools. It took us, drum roll, 15 minutes to move to the G5. Now that's 12 minutes to get the files off the source server and set up the build environment, and 3 minutes to recompile a clean build of several 100,000 lines of code on the dual 2 gigahertz machine. So obviously for you guys, for this audience, compile times, super important. Sorry, Steve, I'm not going to be buying the next serve rack after all. But what's more important is application performance. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Now, what we're going to be looking at, this is actually a simple example of a complex problem. Typically, when you think 3D, you think GPU, graphics performance. And with the new G5, we can have the highest-end 3D OpenGL accelerators. What we've done here is we've actually taken out all the high-end GPU work, and we've put a lot of it on the CPU load. So transforms, 3D transforms, all the poly shading, all the enumeration, all happening on the CPU. So should we do a little run through?
Sure, again, for those who don't see the Apple up there, you have a Power Mac G5 on your left, the same machine we just saw, and the speedy Windows machine up on the right. So if you want to count us down.
3, 2, 1, go. So you can see immediately the G5 just starts pulling that data in and jamming through it. This is motion capture data we got from our good friends at Kedara. Thank you, Kedara. Motion capture data means you have a keyframe at every frame for every joint on every character. So these data files get very large. It's very important that we can push it onto the chip, do all the transforms, and then push it off to the graphics card. Two things you'll notice. Obviously, it's double the performance, but you'll also notice that the consistency of the frame rates on the Mac is much better, which is really important for animators who care about timing. So you have to have good timing if you're doing animation. So you see the consistent performance there versus the rather choppy side over here. Should we do a little bullet time homage here?
Sure. Would you like to do a nice, cool effect? We'll spin them around.
Head start?
Sure. No, I trust you. 3, 2, 1, go.
So you see now we're doing a full 3D transform of the entire world while the animation's playing back, and the G5 chews right through that nary a hitch. So good stuff.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. You know, I wanted to just clarify one thing. We've got a whole bunch of things in our new compilers that really optimize for the G5. But your G4 applications run without recompiling totally natively. And if you want to recompile them to pick up even more performance, it's really easy to do, as Brad just highlighted for us. Next up, Wolfram Research, Science and Engineering. And it's my great pleasure to introduce Theo Gray, co-founder of Wolfram Research.
So Steve actually goes back a long way with Mathematica. Believe it or not, it is 15 years ago to the day today that he came to our press conference to help us introduce Mathematica version 1 to the world. And not only that, today we are introducing Mathematica version 5 for the G5. In those 15 years, Mathematica has become pretty much the de facto standard language for doing mathematics in fields from physics to finance to fundamental biology. But in version 5, we're introducing features to allow you to do sort of very large-scale numerical problems, things like solving a system of linear equations with a million unknowns. And that happens to be exactly the kind of thing that the G5 is especially good at, the kind of thing you could really use it for. So we have a little demo here.
Hey, Dale. Do I have to be the PC again?
Sorry. So let's see, are we ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so this is kind of a little simulated real-world situation. We have it doing, on the one hand, very large integer calculations like you might do for cryptography, for example. On the other hand, doing some really large numerical matrix operations like you might use in signal processing or image analysis or things like that. Of course, we're using it to make some pretty pictures. You know, it's going, I don't know, what, twice, 2.5 times? It's going quite a bit faster. You know, often for this kind of thing, it's really not really a question of whether you could do this with a computer. It's whether you could do it before breakfast. Because, you know, I had to try a lot of different examples and figure out some parameters and things. And, you know, the kids are going to wake up. I have to get on a plane, go to California, give a demo. You often have these kind of deadlines where you need an answer today, not sometime next week. You don't have time to write a Fortran program and optimize it. You want to use a high-level, abstract, symbolic computational system in a language like Mathematica, where it'll just give you the answer. You want to use 6 gigabytes of memory? Fine. Don't bother me with the details. I want the answer. We tried to come up with a demo where we'd actually show you the 6 gigabyte capacity, but we couldn't figure out any that wouldn't just destroy the PC. And you know, it was thrashing for a week. It'd screw up the next demo. It's just not good.
As you can see from the animation that the Mac is now completed and has been done for a few moments. It's 40 steps of the fractal, and the PC is now just breaking over 20. So without breaking a sweat, the Mac has done twice the performance.
The competition for this machine is not PCs anymore. Basically, for our customers, the competition is high-end Unix workstations that cost twice as much. It's faster than all of them, too. It's sort of... I mean, this is really the dream machine. It's got, you know, the Unix operating system that you need for anybody who's using Mathematica, who should be using Mathematica. You know, you got Unix, you got all the desktop applications you want. You've got the beautiful Windows system. It's incredibly fast. It's got a spare processor, you know, if you want to leave Microsoft Word running or something like that. And so this is where we've come in 15 years of partnership with Steve. And I don't know where we're going to be in 15 years, but I know there's going to be a version of Mathematica. It's going to be running on some kind of, you know, nanotube Mac. And maybe Steve and I will be shuffling around here to show it to you. I hope you all be here to see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teo. Next up is our own eMagic, some of the most popular music creation software on the planet. And it's my pleasure to bring up Gerhard Lengeling, who is the co-founder of eMagic. Good morning, Gerhard.
Hey. Thank you, Steve. The G5 is a dream machine. It is exactly the machine all musicians have waited for. At eMagic, a lot of engineers are musicians too. Some of them are happy enough to get a machine, worked on it, did some optimizations, and obviously also did some benchmarking. And we all have been so surprised. As a benchmarking tool, we used a software instrument, a sampler, and I asked you, how many voices, how many notes do you think is it possible to play at the same time on that machine? 64, over 100. It's 1,000. It's more than 1,000 voices which can be played at the same time on that machine. This is amazing. All of the voices are high quality, 24-bit, and all of them are stereo. As a second example, if we look in studios, in professional studios, you see the big mixing consoles, very wide, lots of faders, many knobs. If you have a really huge project and you want to have this mixer now running in Logic, in software, you might want to have many EQs. Let's assume 100. 100 EQs, 8 bands each, and stereo each. This adds up to 1,600 bands. And guess what? The G5 does it. But it's even more surprising, it does it with only 25% CPU power. The new architecture of the machines benefits Logic greatly. As a music application, we handle a lot of audio streams. Obviously, the CPU power is great, but very often forgotten is the memory bandwidth. And this is very important for us. We have lots of audio streams going from one place in the machine to the other place, lots of buses, outputs, voices, everything. Many of them are contiguous. That means they don't fit in the caches. And I'm really excited that we have this machine now, that the combination of the G5 and Logic works so well. Instead of talking about music, maybe we should go to the demo. Phil?
Thank you, Howard. So again, the venerable Mac on the left and our fun PC on the right. As you know, eMagic Logic is on the Mac, and the latest version is not on Windows, so we have the most popular sequencer on the Windows side. That's Cubase. And two great products. But we've got a very complex piece here, a piece that was actually created by BT, great musician who uses a Mac, and you'll see in a minute why. And this is a piece of music created for a trailer for The Matrix. And since it's music, we're going to play the PC first and then play the Mac, and I think there'll be a noticeable difference. In addition to what you hear, for those who can see the small CPU meters in the bottom right-hand corner of each display, you'll notice something different in how much CPU they use. So let's start with the PC first and give it a first shot at this musical piece. I'm sure that's not how BT meant for it to sound. Well, we could sit here and listen to this, or we could choose to use another computer. So let's take a listen to it on the Mac. Gerhard, if you'd like to.
Sure.
So clearly sounds a world better.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Woo! That's pretty cool. So let's summarize. Adobe Photoshop, over twice as fast on the Power Mac G5 as the fastest the fastest PC money can buy, a dual 3.06 Xeon. Luxology turned out to be 2.3 times faster on the G5. Wolfram Research turned out to be 2.3 times faster. And Logic, well, I don't know how to calculate that. So in real-world tests and in spec tests, we can clearly say we've caught up with the PC and passed them on both integer and floating point to be the fastest computer in the world. Now, what about the future? We're at 2 gigahertz today. IBM and Apple are today announcing that within 12 months, we'll be at 3 gigahertz. 3 gigahertz processor clock, that's up 50% within 12 months. And so, believe me, this architecture has legs. Power Mac G5, an amazing, amazing new machine. And we've got a video that I'd like to show you now. So let's run the video.
Today's personal computers use 32-bit technology. The computers of the future will use 64-bit. Well, the future is now at Apple.
Check out my new weapon of choice. Yeah.
The new Power Mac G5 is the world's first personal computer with a 64-bit processor, accelerating everything from 3D animation to scientific computation.
Oh boy, this is going to be good, I can tell.
When we started the G5, we knew we couldn't make something just a little bit faster. We had to make it a whole lot faster, and we did. In fact, it's the world's most powerful personal computer, period.
This new Power Mac G5 has bandwidth to burn. Dual 2 gigahertz 64-bit PowerPC processor with optimized velocity engines. Dual gigahertz processor buses, each capable of transferring up to 8 gigabytes per second. A memory subsystem that supports up to 8 gigabytes of 400 megahertz DDR RAM with 6.4 gigabytes per second of bandwidth.
The new Power Mac G5 has blazingly fast expansion, the fastest ever in a personal computer. It features state-of-the-art 8X AGP Pro graphics, 133 megahertz PCIX slots for cutting-edge music and video solutions, and 2 serial ATA buses for ultra-fast internal storage.
The Power Mac is completely new from the ground up. At its heart is the PowerPC G5 processor, which can handle over 200 in-flight instructions. That's 70% more than the fastest Pentium on the market today. To create this processor, we turned to IBM.
The goal of this partnership is for Apple and IBM to come together so that Apple customers get the best of both worlds, the tremendous creativity from the Apple Corporation and the tremendous technology from the IBM Corporation. IBM invested over $3 billion in a new fab to produce these large 300 millimeter wafers. this G5 microprocessor has over 50 million transistors on it, and it incorporates IBM's leading-edge 130 nanometer technology. That's 1/800th the diameter of a human hair, but this is only the beginning. We have already built the prototypes for next-generation PowerPC microprocessors.
The G5 is an incredibly fast chip. It's so fast, so powerful that it requires extraordinary cooling. We've designed the new PowerMac G5 with 4 distinct thermal zones. Now, with thermal sensors in each zone, you can actually cool them independently. And that's important because it means we can cool them quietly. In fact, it's 2 to 3 times quieter than the G4. Everything is designed to be straightforward. The door is removable, which allows you complete access to the hard drive, to cards, and to the RAM.
The PowerMac G5 is an amazing feat of engineering, featuring 2 incredibly fast PowerPC processors, up to 500 gigabytes of internal SuperDrive, up to 8 gigabytes of memory, breaking the 4 gigabyte barrier. Everything and more that you'd expect from Apple's top-of-the-line machine.
It's very important to Pixar that we be able to show our frames at full resolution, and the G5 lets us see every pixel on the screen and be able to send it around the studio. That's fantastic. After running our RenderMan benchmarks, we can now say that the G5 is the fastest desktop in the world.
I think the one word that describes the PowerMac G5 to me is stunning. It's stunning because while people have speculated that Apple might change chips, they had no idea about this entire redesign of the architecture. It's stunning. The beautiful thing about the G5's ability to run 32-bit and 64-bit programs natively is that artists like to use lots of different programs. Well, they don't have to worry about compatibility with their old programs and their new programs. They're just going to work. And they're going to work faster.
My first reaction to the G5 was just one of, wow, Apple has done it again. The performance of the G5 is just incredible. We've been working very closely with Apple, in particular with Adobe Photoshop. In fact, it's up to 2 times as fast as the previous performance that we've experienced on the Macintosh. Apple's made Photoshop that much more productive.
The G5 is faster than any Unix workstation. It runs all of your desktop software, all of your productivity applications. It runs Mathematica version 5 incredibly well. And the real question is, why would you buy anything else?
The new G5 is the most advanced personal computer in the world, and in partnership with IBM, we're committed to seeing that it remains the most advanced for years to come.
We have refined and refined the design of the new PowerMac G5 to make it essential, to make it efficient, to make it honest.
The G5 is the best computer Apple has ever built. From the processors to the buses to the memory, this is one kick-ass machine.
So, I would like to take a moment to thank all of the folks at Apple that have been working so hard on this stuff for so long. Avi and his software team on Panther. It's going to be a stunning release. Steve Neroff and his team on Xcode. John Rubinstein and his team on the iSight camera. And, of course, the remarkable new PowerMac G5. You guys have done a kick-ass job. And as we finish up these products and get them into your hands, We've got awesome support at Apple from our finance teams, our operations teams. Everybody at the company is behind these products, and we are just thrilled. Now, our strategy, as you know, is to innovate, and that's why we're here. Well, let's just go back less than 6 months ago, the beginning of the year. The 12-inch PowerBook, the smallest footprint, lightest, full-featured notebook in the world. The 17-inch PowerBook, the world's first 17-inch notebook computer, still the only 17-inch notebook computer, 1 inch thin. Safari, kicked off the beta early this year, just went 1.0 today. iLife, bringing together all of our amazing new Digital Hub applications into one product. Keynote, thank you very much. Final Cut Pro 4, shipped a few weeks ago. The most popular pro video editing software in the world, and Final Cut Pro 4 is off the charts. The iPod, the 3rd generation. Our competitors haven't even caught up with our first yet. iTunes 4, the 4th release of the best digital jukebox software in the world, including the iTunes Music Store, the first way to buy music online that's legal and really works. Panther, macOS 10.3, going to be a landmark release. The iSight camera, the eyes and ears of iChat, Xcode, and the Power Mac G5. And it's only the first 6 months. Wow. So today, we have rolled out our next generation hardware architecture and our next generation software architecture to you first. And over the course of the next few days, we have 175 sessions on these things for you to learn everything there is to know so that you can take our innovations and you can be the most innovative developers on the planet too. So thank you very, very much. Go out and see this stuff. Get your hands on it. We think you're going to love it as much as we do. Thank you very much. Isn't it great to be in San Francisco? Woo. So, we have so much great stuff for you today that we may even have to take a stretch break in the middle here. Today, we are declaring Safari 1.0. Next up, we have a new feature called Expose. In Panther, we are taking iChat to iChat AV. The A stands for audio, the V stands for video. This is video conferencing for the rest of us. And we've waited a long time to show you this, but I'd like to show you. Hi, Al.
Thank you. How you doing?
How you doing, Al?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? This is going to be a great thing. No question about it.
Well, thank you very much, Al. I really appreciate this.
See you soon.
All right. Take care. There is one more thing we wanted to talk about today. Now, some of you may have noticed on the net this. We are delivering today the world's fastest personal computer. There it is. This is an all-aluminum enclosure. This is an all-aluminum enclosure that is super high-tech and can handle the power, both processing power and thermal power, generated by such an architecture and its follow-ons to come. I've left the door open off the side so you can see this thing. It is a thing of beauty.